All right, Cancers, what's happening? It is Rachel Navy, aka Villagio Strega, coming to you live from my favorite place, outside. Yes, outside in the backyard. It looks like I got the ducks parade about to happen. You may see that in the background here. You may hear a few owls. You may hear a coyote howl. You may hear crows. Murder crows going by. You'll definitely hear some bullfrogs and crickets. I hear them now. Throughout this process. But bear in mind, guys, this is a general reading, will not resonate for everyone, so keep what does and leave the rest, please. I'm doing a Celtic cross style for you guys, so we're going to start out with your subject matter, your challenge, look at what the destiny here is in place for the goals, the hopes and dreams, follow it up with what your distant past is, and your more recent past, along with what's headed, where you headed towards the end of the month here. Maybe what's the first week of June looking like for some of you. We'll look at your attitude about the situation, of course. Let me just clarify these. Okay. We'll look at your attitude about the situation, what other external influences might have some bearing on the current circumstance for what's going on in your environment, and of course your inner emotions and the overall outcome. I'll be clarifying the rest up with a different deck for the 5, the Clarifier 5. It's kind of like a continuation of the story. It goes into a little bit more detail, or it reiterates what's already here on the table usually when it comes out. And then, of course, I will pull an Archangel card for you all. So I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment below. I do try and get back to people within 48 hours. Now, that's a lot. So, let's see. I don't think we're taking all of you guys. I will lift the cards up one at a time, but because I'm in an outdoor setting and I have the camera here kind of elevated, I'm not going to be able to like fully boop. You get the idea. So that said, let's find out what's going on with these guys. None of them. That's what. None of them are coming into play. If you have a challenge or situation in your life there, Cancer, that you'd like more guidance, clarity, or support on as well, feel free to reach out to me. There it is. Got the Tower and the Strength card. All right, my dear Cancers, let's take a look. First subject matter is the Magician, right? And you're being challenged by the 8 of Pentacles. So let's talk about this Magician first. This is the subject matter. This is what you're manifesting, right? Magician's all about that Mars energy. What's going into action? What you're putting into action? What are you creating? What are you manifesting for yourself towards the end of the month here, Cancer? It's really a beautiful energy to have, because what it's indicating is you have all the tools you need in order to create something. And likely you're creating something that you've been working on for some time, because this is your challenge. You're like, I wonder when this is going to pay off. I've been working. This is your own unique thing for yourself. Or it's a matter of taking that money you've been working so hard at and elevating it and applying it to something else, because I do see an Ace of Cups here in your goals or destiny as well. I see some lovely cup energy actually going on for many of you. But nonetheless, as a challenge, this is representing like you kind of like, I've been doing this so long, I'm getting kind of tired of it. You may make some errors in there, so you want to be careful of that, Cancer. You also want to make sure that you're staying true to the form with whatever it is you're creating. Again, Eight of Pentacles can often be someone who's mastered a skill, trade, or craft that they themselves have often created. So if you're working, and you're like, when is this going to pay off, so that way you can manifest something. In other words, you're waiting for your ships to come in kind of energy. You're waiting for things to pay off so that way you can move forward with something else, or the same thing, enhancing the same thing you've been working on. But it may have more to do with your employment situation and time management as well. What's in your goals or destiny spot is the lovely Ace of Cups. This is the divine coming in to give you a little bit of peace of mind, right? It's when there may have been a struggle going on perhaps in your emotional life, or maybe a relationship challenge for many of you. Cancer does tend to be, the water sign that they are, tend to be a real deep emotional individuals. You guys kind of like to have your quiet space and then give, but then you need kind of time to rest and recover with it all too, because you guys are so generous, especially when it comes to your matters of the heart. And this is just kind of like the Spirit's way of saying, hey, you know what, I got your back. You see that lotus there? That lotus starts out in some murky depths, muddy waters, but the beauty is when it blooms at the surface. So there may be some things going on in your life underneath the surface that you may not be aware of, but have faith. Again, peace of mind, tranquility is on the way, overabundance in the emotional aspect, lots of love energy for you all that's really blossoming into something beautiful is what that's representing. Looking at, wondering how windy it's going to get here because it's starting to kick up a little bit. Due for a storm. Looking at your distant past, some of you may have inherited a home. Some of you may have had some sort of good fortune when it comes to your finance, for sure. Your stability, your safety and security. You duckies better get out of my garden. Gotta reprimand the parade here, because I just seeded it. Anyways. So some of you have been really fortunate to possibly have some sort of inheritance of a home, some sort of luck and finance, as it were, a lot of abundance in the distant past that may have come with some wisdom attached to it, some loyalty even. I say that because this is the father that kind of hands over the property to the son and the family for younger generations. So it's like that security, stable and security that comes with this abundance. It was kind of like breathing easy for a moment and being like, okay, I got this kind of feeling. The dog too there is the loyal companion, represents spirit because it's white, side by side with wisdom, here to help you out along the way. More recently, though, you have the Emperor. Emperor is about authority figures, father figures even, which could also collaborate with this distant past energy here, Cancer. Could also represent legal things like dealing with authority figures, judicial systems, attorneys, construction even, because it's the Aries card, and Aries loves to build. The Emperor himself really is about like, okay, what's attainable, or what do I have control of in my domain here, as it were, when it comes to man's law, man's civilizations. So for many of you, you could be dealing with an Aries, or this was the Aries time frame that you saw this kind of like burst of abundance, this surprise element to your finance, perhaps stable and secure. But it could also be pertaining to, more recently, again, a father figure, or dealing with legal matters, as it were, dealing with some sort of man's law, structural things as well, in Aries time frame. Where you headed, you're going to like here, Cancer, because it's another Cancerian card. You get the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is that beautiful energy of sharing that emotional abundance, and I think it has to do a lot with your relationships, whether it's family, friends. There's a lot of togetherness here. There's a lot of union. There's a lot of blessings, and often the Ten of Cups shows up after there's been some sort of struggle, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. So it's like, okay, you got yourself situated. Again, you're wondering when this is going to pay off, right? You're manifesting something. You're wondering when it's going to pay off. I might take a guess, just because of what I'm channeling here, that some of you have kind of like gone, were inward for a while, especially the early parts of spring, and just really focusing on your work, your finance, making sure your home was secured, and then it kind of moves into the relationship here towards the end of the May, and it's that reward after you secure your safety and security, secure your material things, your tangible things, Cancer, your finance, as it were, that you're really manifesting this relationship, it looks like, or that's that togetherness with family. Your attitude about it all it's kind of interesting, because I have the Five of Swords energy. Five of Swords can often be a conflict. It's upright too, so it's kind of like you haven't fully gotten over something, and why it may be connected to matters of the heart too. I got a feeling it really is, because of some other stuff going on here in the reading, but it's kind of indicating to me that you're not quite ready to let go of some sort of battle. For some of you, I'm picking up that this may be an ex involved. This may be like fully letting go of one relationship, so that way you can have the next one kind of energy, or like a control issue within that relationship. Often when we see the Five of Swords in different decks, we'll see him, the individual, kind of like still ready to fight, even though everybody else is like, we're out of here, we're done, we're not doing this anymore. So there's that hanging on, that need to challenge, that need to, the ego, kind of feed the ego kind of energy is going on for many of you. With your attitude about a situation. What's your external environment like? Somebody here is using their instincts. So hopefully you many of you Cancers are being faithful, and or this could represent you having some thoughts or insecurities, that secrets revealed, kind of like that you had a feeling about, you had a hunch about. They're kind of being illuminated, brought to the surface, as it were. This is high feminine energy, though, so you could be dealing with a feminine energy who's really knowledgeable, has a lot of wisdom herself, very good at keeping the balance of things as it is when it comes to her own emotions and or her intuition. This is a high intuition card because it's associated with the moon. So you could be dealing with somebody like that in your environment for sure. Cancer, what is your inner emotions? You've got the Judgment card energy, of course, and take a look at that just for a moment. It's some badass ink art. At any rate, here, I'm using the Tattoo Tarot for anybody who's interested, by the way, too. Judgment energy is when we have to face those realities. And I think this is why this ego is kind of the hang-up, and you're still kind of like, when is this going to pay off kind of energy? Is because for some of you, the ego might be getting in the way. Judgment is again, when we let go of our self-criticism as much as it is when we let go of the criticism of others or how we judge others in and of itself. Again, could be a legal situation. We've got both the Emperor and the Judgment card out, so there could be some clearing up of legal things. The good news is that judgments are in your favor if you're headed to court for whatever reason. I really get a strong sense, though, here, guys, for you in particular, this is pertaining to a relationship where there's just a lot of back and forth kind of energy, like you said this, she said that, kind of stuff going on, that really just you're ready to let go of. You're ready to be like, you know what, been here, done that, let's move forward kind of thing. What's your overall energy? Got the Tower card and the Strength card energy. So you know, divine stepping in, maybe a decision, you couldn't make a decision about a certain situation. So here's when the divine steps in and says, it's okay, if you can't make this, I'll make this for you. Now it's not going to hurt any less either way, there, Cancer, right? Because the Tower is not the most comfortable. It doesn't have to be. It could be about pleasant surprises as well. But in all of its effort to kind of like knock you off your foundation for a moment, just when you think you mastered something or it's stable, safe, and secure, such as over here in your distant past, Divine says, wait a minute, I got something better for you in store, right? And that better something is going to require you to have some courage. Leo energy, so you may be looking at the time frame of end of July to the beginning of August, and it's about having that self-confidence, that courage from within. It's about gentle force. I see the need for gentle force certainly in your lineup, especially when it comes to your attitude, your inner emotions, and that High Priestess energy of who's in your environment as well. That intuitive knowledge, as it were. So go with your gut. Really always go with your gut. Always go with your instincts anyways, Cancer. But in particular, looking towards the end of the month here, you may find a challenging situation that you weren't really prepared for. You kind of knew was happening, or kind of had a way about saying, you know, maybe I could do this, maybe this is what's really going on. So have courage, have faith, gentle force, gentle forward motion with that. Well, my goodness. Okay, who are we clarifying with, please? Yeah, we're going with the Golden Tarot. I'm going to clarify 5 for the Cancers. End of May, please. Spirit, what messages do you have to clarify this reading, please? 3 more. So far, coming out with 3 of Wands energy. the Hermit card, the Emperor again. So that's really emphasized here in this reading for you Cancers. The Magician again. And remember too, the major arcanas are really like the soup and nuts to the reading. All the other cards are kind of like everyday things. But when you hear your major arcana cards, those are the most pertinent ones. And if you don't know the difference too, I can point it out now. And we got the Hierophant. Whew! Cancer. Clearly, this goes back to your original thing when you're manifesting, because we have the Magician out again, right? We have the Magician, we have the Three of Wands, this Hermit energy, the Emperor energy, and the Hierophant. All but this guy right here are major arcanas. Tell sometimes of that. Roman numeral at the top for many decks, right? Or so let's talk about this guy just by itself here for a moment. So Three of Wands energy is like you literally watching your ships come in. You're waiting, you're wondering, but you're also planning. You're coming up with ideas, you're strategizing a little bit, and you're taking an active role. You're taking leadership. This is the card of merchants often. This is the card of those who have started the business, and they're kind of just like just starting it, just waiting for that return on investment kind of energy, which is really what I felt like here was going on at the beginning for many of you. So it's waiting, watching, and waiting for the payoff in a certain situation. Now the rest of these guys here, we know there's Virgo energy here out with the Hermit card energy. That's about you taking time to go inward, really connecting with yourself, connecting with your own spirit, and saying, this is who I am authentically versus who I am to the community. Does who you are on the inside flow into who you are out in the community? What is your light? What services do you have to offer? And how do you nurture yourself throughout the process is really the Hermit's energy. Emperor, we know again, that father figure keeps coming out for you guys, or legal aspects, authority figures, right? Construction, some of you may be attorneys, some of you may be judges, some of you may be carpenters, contractors, something along those lines. That's his energy. Again, Aries, could be dealing with an Aries as well. Magician card energies is Mars. It's about action. It's about having all the tools you need to be successful. Yes, Cancer, you can be successful with this. But there may be a need for a commitment too. So while you have everything you need, you have the knowledge, you have the wisdom, you may just need to fully commit. And I got a feeling this is more about your relationship in a particular circumstance here, Cancers. The Hierophant energy is truly about finding an authentic spiritual teacher, making a higher commitment to not only others but to ourselves as well. And I think that too is kind of coinciding with this Hermit card energy, is making the commitment to yourself as much as it is about others. Now mind you, you did have the Strength card come out along with the Tower, along with Justice. We've got the High Priestess. We've got a lot of major arcanas here in the initial reading. And the Magician, there he is. In the initial reading. So looking at all of this, right? Clearly you're building something. Clearly there may be loose ends to tie up legally to make sure it's everything it should be. And legitimately here, Cancers, in order for you to prosper from it, using your intuition or somebody else having good insight from their intuition could also be a benefit to you, and letting go of those judgments that no longer serve you or serve others when it comes to how critical you are of yourself or how you treat other people, perhaps. Reminder that there may be a moment here towards the end of the month where things may not be as secure as you originally thought they were. That's why you got to tie things up legally here and make that commitment. I got a feeling too this might have to do about communication, because Mercury is in retrograde, mind you. That means that communication tends to break down. Electronic devices, mechanical things, technical things tend to get a little wonky during this period of time with Mercury in retrograde, because of just the way the planets are, how they affect our electromagnetic fields, geomagnetic fields as it is. And often it is broken down, have that tower moment, in order to repair it. So you'll see some conflicts arise here and there while Mercury is in retrograde, and it's not until July that it fully comes out of it. But you'll see those things break down for a period of time until they're repaired, and then we can move on. fix the next thing, right? I'm going to pull the next 3 for you. Any more messages for this reading? There he is again. No way. Yeah, okay. The Emperor and the Wheel of Fortune out. And the 10 of Swords. Okay. To finalize this reading here, Cancer, I, of course, have your Emperor card again. So definitely dealing with an Aries. Definitely dealing with that father figure for many of you. Finalizing some legal things, and structural. Maybe there's something you're building, in other words, with that. Then I have your Wheel of Fortune card. So this is Jupiter energy. It's about expansion. What kind of growth is involved, and the right timing on a situation. Luck's on your side, yes, because these are coming out upright. And the timing is right. So it's up to you when to know when that is. Something's also come to an end, a completion of sorts. And remember back here with this 5 of Swords energy, this is what I really want you to consider with this 10 of Swords in particular. No more drama, no more poor communication, no more wondering, worrying, any of that stuff. It's done and over. The battle's done. It's not about who wins or loses, like this guy's still concerned with, right? Just move forward from it. Pick up the pieces and move on, dear Cancer. So, last one of the reading, I have the Archangel deck. So let's see what those beautiful light beings would like you to know. Okay, outdoors. It says, go outside, get some fresh air, and connect with nature to relieve stress and gain new creative ideas. There you go. So get outside. Get that fresh air. I certainly am. Blessed be, Cancers. Take care.